We're live and see
We
what
are live
happens.
here.
Oh, we're live? Oh,
Yes,
shoot.
yes.
Okay, well, welcome everyone to another Facebook Live to Dr. Nelva with Dr. Nelva Bryant. I'm Greta Russo, and this is Dr. Bryant. I see we're off to a good start already. I'm tongue-tied. Tongue- Dr. Bryant, please introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi there, everyone. Thanks for following and listening in today. I'm Dr. Nelva Bryant, as Greta says. I am a veterinarian. I work in the airline industry. I work with Delta Airlines, and I've been on staff with them for past few years. I enjoy the opportunity and the ability to do what I do in my profession. I'm probably I don't know of any other veterinarians doing what I do as far as working within the airline industry. But because of that insight, I just feel it's important that I share information to help pet owners, other animal transporters in ways to better prepare their animals for air transport. By cargo, that's what I focus on primarily. We do sometimes with our Facebook Live events, we do touch on in-cabin transport, but to be honest with you, my focal area is on transporting animals by cargo. So like I said, that's why I developed When Pets Fly and share information that way, focusing on the animal during transport. Greta, please introduce yourself and we'll keep going forward. In reference to what, before you do, again, we developed When Pets Fly basically to allow me to present different stakeholders in the animal transportation industry. We have hit upon transporting service animals, zoo animals, other pet transportation companies. We've done a lot, but introduce yourself and I'm sure you can segue and add on to what I've just said.
Well, hello everyone. My name is, and happy summer. I can't believe that the 4th of July is next week, and that's mid-summer point. But my name is Greta Russo, and I help Dr. Bryant with marketing and sharing the message of our brand. And I'm really enjoying the journey of how we're growing and meeting so many different people. This has been amazing and fascinating because every day is different. And so if you've been with us from the beginning, or even if not, you definitely should know that we've
Uh-oh. 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 It's frozen. Uh-oh. I Greta, I don't know if you're aware, but you have frozen up on us. Oh, we are still live, I believe. Um, we'll give it a minute for Greta to come back. But as she was saying, we have been doing quite a lot as far as with our Facebook Lives, having different stakeholders that are presented. Today, we're planning on presenting another stakeholder within the animal transportation industry. His name is Varun. And please hold fast. Oh, gosh. Yes. Hi there.
Hi there.
There we go. Scared me for a second. I was like, I don't know what to do. What happened? And I don't have the controls that you have, Greta. Did you realize you froze? On my side, you froze up. Did you freeze up on your side? Yeah, you're freezing again. You hear me?
Dr. Bryant, can you hear me okay?
I hear you. Am I
Okay.
freezing? Am I freezing
Yeah.
on your side and vice versa? Because you were frozen on my side, and it was like I don't know what to do because you have the controls. But
Yeah, you were frozen too, but I think we're good now.
okay, good.
Well,
I
so
hope.
I apologize, everyone. We were having technical difficulties, so that goes to show you we're not AI. But
Right.
that's proof.
Right. Right.
But I was just saying, I'm really looking forward to today's conversation because we get to talk to someone from another country about the bringing animals in and out, and we're speaking about India. So this should be a lot of fun.
Definitely, definitely. I'm really excited for Varun to come on. I've met him quite a few times. I've seen him the past few IPATA meetings. That's the International Pet and Animal Transportation Association meetings. Last time I saw him, we were in Dubai. It was so beautiful. We have always kept in touch, and he wanted the opportunity to come on Facebook Live. And I think it's great to share the pet travel experience as far as pet shippers experience outside of the U.S. I mean, to be honest with you, for us being U.S. citizens, a lot of times we forget other countries, but it's good to see the efforts that are in as far as animal transportation, pet transportation in other countries. So I'm glad he's here.
Absolutely, and to share the similarities and differences.
Yes.
You know, even though he works for a pet relocation company, it's I'm sure he'll be able to give some tips and pointers about handling different parts of India.
Right.
And I don't think I'm not sure if he works with all of the airports in India, but we'll have to ask what airports they work with, and so he can speak about those in specifically.
Right. Hey, before we go there, let's get him on here. As a reminder, let's talk about the CDC dog importation regulations that are going to be updated very, very soon. We mentioned maybe last couple of sessions we've had, but on August 1st, CDC has updated their dog importation regulations. So that means you leaving the country and coming back, or deciding if you're on vacation and you get a puppy or something and you want to bring it back to the country, there are specific regulations that you must comply with, and they're based upon the regulatory authority is CDC. So please remember that they are very stringent as far as the requirements. So please go to their website and read into that more. And I'm sure that Varun, being out of India, he's got a lot of information to share in reference to that too.
Yeah, I remember with the last Olympics, and I don't remember where they were, so please forgive me. But I remember like quite a few people were bringing home. It was in the news. They were bringing home dogs that were strays in the streets,
Right.
and one of them was a celebrity, Gus something. He was an Olympic skier. I forget specifically what he did. He was an Olympic gold medalist, and he brought over a dog from there, and so did like so many other people. And I'm imagining the CDC is, cracking down because of that last time. Just a flood of, stray dogs from the streets came over to the United States.
Right.
So,
And the folks figure, what's the big deal? What's the worry behind it? And the main thing behind it is that it's to prevent the spread of rabies, canine variant rabies in the United States. I don't know if you guys know, the U.S. has eradicated canine variant rabies since 2007. So we don't want to reintroduce it into our country. So those were the strict rules for that and everything. So there's a reason behind it. Dogs, as much as we love dogs, and I'm a true dog lover myself, but we have to realize they also can transmit diseases of public health significance, and rabies is one of those.
Does the CDC rules also take an effect to any cats from other countries?
It's funny that you mention that. Yes, the importation rules is for dogs and cats, but the requirements for cats is very minimal. It's kind of more or less cats must appear healthy upon importation. Dogs have to appear healthy and have documentation. Cats just have to appear healthy. I know I don't believe there's a feline variant of rabies. So I think that's probably the issue. If it's a cat, it's probably going to be a canine variant rabies. But either way, um, they just must appear healthy upon importation into the United States at this point. So I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure they're working on
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it is about that time. So let's bring Varun in and then we will read his bio and get the questions going. So hold
Awesome.
on. We'll bring him in from
Hey.
the.
Hey viewers, hello, good evening from my part of the world. Hope you everyone's
Awesome.
doing well.
Awesome.
Well, I am going to read your bio very quickly and then we will get this conversation going. Okay. So Varun Nanwandi, Chief Pet Relocator for KLB Barra and Co. I grew up with a Pomeranian dog, and right from childhood, I love pets. My love for pets became a passion when I was introduced to this industry in 2009. Before that, I had no idea about the existence of pet shipping world and how it works. As very few people know about the industry in my country, when I begin and how it operates, I bring my curiosity and zeal to work in this industry and learn about pet shipping more and more. The year 2011 IPATA Hong Kong conference was a game changer and a turning point in my life as it was my first international event and international travel outside of my home country where I met a gem of people from the pet shipping fraternity and industry. I will get back to that fraternity word in a second. Started with operations with World Care Pet Transportation LLC in 2009 and led the operations as country manager till 2019. Then working with Pet Air GmbH Germany and KL Bera and Co. PVT in New Delhi, India, made me learn about the different aspects of the industry when it comes to safe and humane transport of animals worldwide. At KLB, I got extensive knowledge about AVI business in the air freight industry and in-depth custom broker knowledge about the industry from my colleague, Guarva Barra. I hope I said his name correctly. Recently, I started as a team leader with Move One Incorporation, UAE, for my secondment, where I will be looking to make a significant contribution and work on common challenges and working together with our IPATA family members to provide them better customer service experience for their clients looking for pet travel services across Pan Move One locations. As I am in my 16th year of pet shipping business and industry, I would like to thank some of the people uh, who had mentored me in various aspects and ways to grow in the industry, and without whom contributions, it is not possible what I am today. With other below listed achievements at IPATA positions held in the IPATA, um, let's see, you have Assistant Regional Director for the Asian region, Public Relations Committee member, Education Committee member, Malaysian International Conference Committee member, Ethics Hearing Board Committee member, Conduct Basic Pet Shipping Workshop 101 at Asia, Oceania Regional Meeting, Budapest International Conference Committee member. Everyone, please help me welcome Varun Nanwandi.
Yay.
Thank you, Greta.
Awesome.
You had read a lot about me, Eta, but thank
Yeah.
you for bringing up on this, Eta. And one person whose name you didn't take is Dr. Nelva, okay, because I know her for past couple of years, and we have been
Mhm,
interacting through the social media,
mhm.
and the wisdom and the vision she have it about the industry, which is also a game changer for me when I came to have more facts about the same at it up. So we also would like to thank Dr. Nelva, who is
Thank you.
giving me this opportunity today to speak about the aspects of the pet transportation in my part of the world. So
Awesome.
thank you
Absolutely.
again, Etap.
Well,
So like, yeah. So we, as you started with the airport, so we'll tell it about that. So India have mainly six airports, okay? So which covered three in the southern region, which is called Bangalore, Bangalore, yeah, BLR, Hyderabad, HYD, MAA, Chennai. So these are the three airports in the southern part of the India where the pets are allowed to in and out of the country internationally. Then we have Delhi, DEL, which is the northern, which is the capital of India and the biggest airport of India. Then we get to the BOM, which is Mumbai, the central India and the economic capital. So, as in our company capacity, KL Barara and Co. Private Limited, we cover all these five airports. There is another one airport which is in the eastern part of the India that's called CCU, the airport code Kolkata, and which is the one of the smallest airport in terms of the international capacity. Does not have a much airlines operations over there for the international market, especially going to the west, US states, North America, Canada, Mexico, or Europe parts setup. So have a very less connectivity. So we do not cover that airport. Apart from that, we cover all the five major airports in India for the pets in and out. So we have our dedicated team and a staff over there at UP, so who handles every day the live animal shipments, whether coming in any mode. So India does not restrict that the pet has to come either cargo or an excess baggage or a cabin. You can bring it at any time. A pet parent can fly with the dog in a cabin or as an excess baggage in a hold, or they can bring the dog as in a cargo to India also. So all of these airports have the facility to guard the dogs who are coming in and out, because all these airports have the animal quarantine station, which regulates the live animal transportation along with the livestock into the country. So all these quarantine stations have the animal quarantine officer or the regional officers who controls the importation and exportation of live animals in stock by checking all their, the paperwork, health protocols, issuing the necessary permits in these different regions of the, the India where we have the officers. So that's like geography wise, where
that's
we have six airports in India, which allows us to bring, the pets or take the pets out of the country.
that's great. So you're saying so in a sense there's six airports, and at each they're going to have an animal quarantine facility. Does the government run these facilities, or
Yes.
how's the
Yes,
okay?
so all these airports has associated with the animal quarantine offices, which is run by directly the central government of India, which we call the state government. Okay, so there are quarantine officers. Okay, the quarantine spaces for the livestock, so we can import like dog, cats, mice, or the commercials as like cow or horses. So we also import horses, where basically they have been used for the the games or the government purposes or for the armed forces in India. So all these stations, I believe the Hyderabad airport does not have a quarantine station. It's just a quarantine office which gives you the the permits. But rest of that, all the other airports have the quarantine stations where you can keep the live animals if it's required to be. So coming on the import process for the India, the first of thing is that Indian government only consider a dog and cat as a pet for import into India. So the dog and only cat are classified as the pets. If you have anything else in your family as a four-flagged member, so like a rabbit, guinea pig, parrot, anything it up, you still can import it up, but that is having a restriction. Okay, it's not banned; it's a restriction. As the restrictions talks about that you need to have a certain another permissions from the another regulators in India which control those things. So if we talk about birds, so there is a Ministry of Wildlife and Forest which regulates the same. So you need to have an extra permission from that department if you want to import a parrot or a bird as a pet bird into India.
Wow, that's great. That's great to know because I mean, as you know, in the U.S. here, I'm great and I'm fascinated because I like to hear how different countries, regulate
Yeah,
as far as importation. I like that. Same here in the U.S. We have multiple regulatory authorities depending on the animal species as well, and everything. And I think a lot of people get confused because they think it should be one, say, governing body for all animals, and there isn't. There might be in some countries, but here in the U.S. it isn't, and that's why people get confused and complicated on it. I'm just
absolutely.
fascinated that you guys have animal quarantine facilities at each of your airports, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Do they have, I mean, staffing, animal staffing, veterinarians, or how's it staffed?
Yeah, they do it. So all the our quarantine officers, they are itself the veterinarians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so most of them are I would say they have done their masters in veterinary sciences with the
Mm-hmm.
different the path and the programs. Okay, and someone is like master in radiology for the veterinary, or someone is with a different specification and a qualification. But most of them are the master setup. Even we have one of the very old quarantine officer who is a doctorate, and I believe he's posted in South India or Eastern India, who actually written the manual and a program for the animal quarantine long
Wow,
time back. And
nice,
so
very nice.
he's, I guess, about to retire or on the verge of getting a retirement.
Right.
So we admire him at a lot at up. So he's the one of that at up. Rest all are the new, the quarantine officers which comes and join the ministry, and they've been posted, into the different quarantine offices, and they help and contribute to take the,
Yeah.
everyday challenges and the things dealing with the people, making the process better for everyone
Yeah.
into the
Okay.
country.
Question for you. Well, go ahead, Greta, then I'll do my question. That's you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna just because I'm the slow one here. Ask if we could just back up and just recap real quick. So you said that there's 6 airports in all of India.
Yes.
And so could you just name them real quick? Because what I'm going to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
is
So,
create a
so
flyer for
I will,
you
yeah,
actually.
sure. I will rephrase here. So there's not only 6 airports, there are 6 approved airports for the live animals in and out for the country. Okay. So although in India, I believe the airports are more than 500 totally. So, but there are 6 airports in every region of the India. Okay. For going from north to south, east to west. Okay, so these are the airports which have the quarantine station, quarantine officer, quarantine staff, veterinarian who regulates and look about the importation and exportation of live animals and livestock. So here we name it up. So we start from the North India, which is on the top. Okay, New Delhi. Okay, and this is the capital of India, the biggest airport of India. So we have a quarantine station over there. Okay, then we come down towards the western part. The western is called Mumbai. Okay, which is central India. Then we have a quarantine station over there, which regulates the central India. Okay. Then we go to the east. We have Kolkata, and there is a quarantine station. Okay. Then we goes to the south. South have a bigger population also. So and there are 3 stations over there. The one is in Hyderabad, which is a quarantine office, does not have a station. Then the another 2 is Bangalore and Chennai. So where we have a quarantine station. So these are the 6 approved airport as of now to do the import and export for live animal and livestock into the country.
I like that.
Okay.
That's good.
And then if I understood correctly, there is no restrictions on cats and dogs as pets, but any other type of pet, like a bird or a reptile,
Yeah.
they need
Yeah.
certification.
Mhm. So all the pets who are coming, they need necessary certain type of permits. But as the Indian government has classified dog and cat as a pet, rest other things are still, are the pets for the people who wants to import it up, but they need a certain permissions from the different ministries and the department because they are classified as an animals. Okay, so in order to import them, we need an extra permissions and the NOCs. We call it NOCs, no objection certificate for the import. here in India. So we have to go by that department for them.
Okay, so if we're coming from United States with our dog and we're coming into Mumbai, what website do we need to go to no, not our
Yeah.
dog, with our bird? What website do we
Okay.
need to go
That's
to
a
get?
good question. So the thing is that like you need to prepare a little earlier because those permissions may take up to 30 to 60 days. Okay, apart from the dog and cats, because in order to get the proper approval from those certain ministries, which is the Ministry of Wildlife and Forest and Director General of Foreign Trade, if you need to bring any of the pet which is restricted by the government of India, like birds, okay, for an example. So we need to approach those department. There is an online thing it up. So for all the restrictions things, you need to go to the dgft .gov.in. I'll spell it as a D as in Delhi, G as in golf, F as in foxtrot, T as in toy, dot G as in golf, O as in Oscar, V as in Victor, .in. This is a government website which is called Director General of Foreign Trade. So anything apart from the dog and cat as wants to bring as a household pet into the country, you need to apply for the license on that website. And then DGFT, works with the internally with our Ministry of Wildlife and Forest for the birds in order to see if we can import it or not. Because the reason behind is that, like, every 4 to 5 years or 3 years, you heard about the bird flu, avianza flu. Even we
Mhm.
have some
Yeah.
cases earlier,
Oh,
in your some of the previous video cast broadcast you had talked about it. That, and we are also monitoring the situation through the WHO. Although in the starting of the year they do not have that much cases, but slightly the cases has been increased and people are getting it up. So in order to monitor all those situations and proper import of these restricted things set up into the India, so we need to go through the DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade.
that's
Okay,
perfect.
so if you're just bringing in your cat and dog from America, you don't need to go through all that. Do you just get a
Yeah,
ticket or?
no, I'm coming on that etap. So for the dog and cats, okay, you need to do the USDA health certificate, and then you have to apply from NOC. So dog and cats are classified as pets. You just need an NOC from the Animal Quarantine Department, which we call AQCS, Animal Quarantine and Certification Services.
And what website should dog and
Yeah,
cat parents
so
go to?
so yeah, so the website for the AQCS is AQCS, which is A as in Apple, Q as in quarantine, C as in certification, S as in services .gov.in. Again, it's a government website.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and for,
it have all the rules and regulation about the import of the dog and cats and other animals also which need a DGFT. So you will find the details. You have all the 6 airport mentioned it up there which are allowed to import and export livestock and live animals. You have the information available for the quarantine station. You have information available for the quarantine officer. And the recently I saw they had updated their personal cell number for the quarantine officer, which I really find very helpful. So if somebody wants to can go and contact it up.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. And no, that's the but so most people in the U.S. we
Yeah,
use the USDA pet travel website where you can
yeah,
find that.
it's like,
Yeah,
but like they do not have the USD quarantine officer personal cell
but
number.
see,
We
but
got
no,
that
that's
thing.
yeah, that's why. I mean, it's a good to look at the USDA's website, but also the country of your destination. Check their website as well, because that will, I mean, directly, you know exactly what the requirements are if you go there and everything.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It even we have the all the requirements posted for dog and cats imported to India on our AQCS websites, which anyone can follow it up. It's just the thing that when you have to apply for the NOC, you have to do the minimum 7 days prior to your departure because AQCS also takes time to apply and process the no objection certificate. Normally, they take on an average 2 working days it up, depend on the location. Some issues the same day, some takes the 2 days when you deposit all the documents, which is like if we talk about coming up it from the United States, so mainly you need to give the vaccination records, okay, the USDA health certificate along with the owner passport ticket copy, okay, these are the basic documents which we need to submit to the quarantine office, and then you can get your no objection certificate for import from them issued by them. So the only thing is that like we do not have a blanket permission for the NOC. It is only valid for 24 hours, and it have a arrival date and the airline mentioned that on which airline you are bringing the pet. So some of the countries issue like a blanket without any the airline name mentioned, like it's valid for 10 days, 15 or 30 days. So we do not have that thing it up. So it is only for 24 hours. You have a name of airline, you have a arrival date mentioned over there.
So if I understood what you were saying correctly, the paperwork process seems like it's a lot shorter than the United States. So in about a week's time, by the time you hand it all in, you'll get a response in about a week.
We do handle it. We handle it. It's just that like animal quarantine also receives every day, 100 of applications across the India. So they also need some time to process it up.
Yeah.
So, okay, being in an emergency, they are not denying the cases it up. They do take it up if there is something in an emergency situation where the pet owner is not aware of it, or they has to make a sudden travel due to anything. Okay, so then they do accept those cases as well it up. But as per their standard operating procedure, what they had mentioned it up, and what they always tell the people, at least give them a 7 days prior notice, advance notice, before their departure, so they can process the permit in the time. They can let you know whether their documents are all okay, all in order, you have done a proper vaccination and everything it up. But it's always good and early, to start early. So if somebody is looking to travel after a month from now and they want to do the check, and they want to ask them, they can go and email them.
Yeah.
Okay. It seems, gosh, Dr. Bryant, seems so much easier. Like I want to say, so you're not doing this and you're not doing this, but they have a more streamlined.
Right. And it might be more, it's more streamlined. I agree. Here in the U.S., it seems like whenever you know what it is? I think it's because even though animals travel internationally quite often, a lot of the information is handled by your veterinarian. See, we don't have the quarantine stations CDC does have quarantine stations established. I believe there's a good 18 established throughout nationally here in the U.S. But even within those, there are there's only, I think, maybe 6 that are considered animal facilities or potential quarantine facilities that CDC has approved or authorized. But it's not set up like you're thinking. They're not on airport grounds, is the point I'm trying to make. We don't have facilities, governmental facilities like that on airport grounds scattered nationally in the U.S. There's only one animal facility on airport grounds, and that's the ARC at JFK. But they're not associated with the federal government in any form or fashion. So that's the problem.
I agree with you. As per the new rules which are coming from August 1 they had restricted from 18 to 6 airports, which we're talking about will be going to have an animal quarantine facility. Okay, so if we talk about like on the health protocols, I do understand that every government and every country have their own set of measures in order to tackle all those things but like people who are coming from far east or the another continents, giving them a 6 airports as it used to be 18, and prior to that 2 years, like you can go to any airport with the pet. Okay, so now there will be definitely going to be, I believe, some problems or challenges in the upcoming days, where the people who wants to travel from another part of the world, okay, so and they got 6 airports set up. So sometimes it happens you do not have an airline, sometimes you do not have that airline which arrives on the time, and we're not sure that whether the quarantine people will be there 24 hours or something like that. So we're going to see it, whatever the new challenges will be coming our way from August 1.
I think it's going to be a big change for everyone traveling, you folks that are in pet shippers. It's going to be a big change definitely for the airlines, because in the way that the airlines do business, One little feature I thought was interesting, there it's mandating that the airlines have airway bill numbers for all animals going in cabin or by cargo or checked baggage. I'm sorry. But routinely, only animals that are going by cargo gets an airway bill number.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be significant to figure out how that's going to be handled. And that's not just Delta, that's going to be all U.S. airlines on how to handle that. So it's going to be interesting to see the outcome of that.
Yeah, I can understand. So that terminology has to be cleared for the
Yeah.
people who have been bringing the pets into cabin,
Yeah.
and then it's an excess luggage to the sites. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
So we've been talking about pet parents from the angle of pet parents this whole time, but I don't want to miss out on people who send animals by way of like for zoos or people who send them through cargo. So I wanted to ask, everything that you just reviewed, is it the same for everybody across the board?
yeah. That's a good question. You raise it up, Greta. So, there are some things on that thing also. So, the government of India, since April 2013, they classified the process into 2 to 3 parts. Okay, so one is like the pets which are originated in India and had traveled initially from India to rest of the world. The second category, they made it up for the people, even it's an Indian national or a foreign nationals who are doing a transfer of residence to India. So suppose I'm an Indian national and I'm living in States for last 2 years, and for even my schooling or for my work or assignment, anything and now I am returning back to India, my home country, being an Indian national. So I am eligible to bring pets with me, which will be up to two, either dog or a cat, either two dogs or two cats, or a one dog or a one cat. So two is the maximum number allowance. You can say is an allowance by the government of India. So we can bring it up the pets. In case of a foreign national who got a new, an assignment for in India, or a diplomat, okay, who's moving to India for another stay for 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years, depend on their posting and an assignment and doing a transfer of residence. So they are allowed to bring the pets again up to number of two dog and cat setup. So this is the class, the category number two. Okay, even for like some is not a work moving for a working, someone is only going to do a transfer of residence like for a retirement. Many of the foreign nationals try to choose India as a retirement for the rest of life to spend it over there, so they can also bring the pet depending on they have a correct form of their visa and doing a transfer of residence. And the last category is at the DGFT. So apart from the things like the people who does not follow in the category 1 and category 2. The category 1 is for like Indian origin pets, the category 2 is under transfer of residence. If you don't follow those things, okay, and you still want to bring the pet like for short visit, for zoo, for some dog shows or something else, whatever the reason is, then you have to write it to the Director General of Foreign Trade asking the special import permit, and if they allows it up, then you can bring it up. So these are the three categories for the India for past 11 years since April 2013. Yeah, when these new rules came into Indian territory by the government of India about the import of pets.
Does India ever accept wild animals into the country?
Yeah, they do it up, but the nature we need to understand here that if somebody wants to the wild animals we're talking about it up depend on what thing it up. So if these are for the zoo and imported by the government or any wildlife sanctuary, yes, they have to take a special permission from the government and they are allowed. We see every like 2 months, 3 months, different wildlife sanctuaries get those wildlife and creatures, animals, birds, okay, bring to the India. Even I believe in last year our prime minister had got some of the
reserves lion from some part of the Africa to India. Yeah. So it's still allowed. It's okay. They are government, but it's still allowed. The second thing is that, like, for if we talk about horses, I know they're not dangerous or something like that. But we still import it up. Depend on like what is the purpose of import. So our armed forces import them. The studs, the farm queens, they import it up for the races, polo races, or for their defense, anything it up. So different categories, they can import it up. And now, if we talk about the dogs, okay, so ferocious dogs or a dangerous breeds.
Yeah,
So
please.
yes, there is a new development on that thing. So like certain cases happens it up where the pet owners who did not kept those ferocious breeds, or the guard dogs, I would say, as a they kept as a pet, okay, but they did not took care of those dogs properly as a pet, okay, and bite it, the general public. So there are a few incidents happens, and in last few years it so definitely in earlier this year, in the month of, I believe, April, sorry, in the month of March, around 12th of March. So the government of India had put a blanket on 23 breeds, which has been considered as a dangerous dog and a ferocious breeds. And they had put a blanket ban that we cannot import them into in India. So without considering or without talking to all the stakeholders, the people from kennels, the people from different boarding perspective, the live animal transportation perspective, keeping as a pet perspective, or veterinarians, or all the stakeholders which are into this industry. So they put a blanket a ban. So after the blanket ban has been put it up, 23 breeds of the ferocious dog I can share with you, and their mixes has been put it up as restricted and cannot be imported further. So that ban gone through for around 45 to 50 days in India, and a certain lawsuits by the different stakeholders was filed in the honorable courts in the different parts of India, which, given the result that the government should revoke the ban and discuss first with all the stakeholders into the country about the same matter. So they revoked the ban around. Mid of, I believe, starting of May. So they put it on 12th of April, and I believe on 2nd or 3rd of May they put the ban revoked, and then they given a time for a few days to the all the stakeholders, so they can come and discuss with the government about the same etap. So certain measures can be taken after that etap in order to get a new ruling. So the new ruling is still in a draft. We are still waiting for the same. After the revocation happened, those ferocious breeds are getting imported into India, because certain type of the breeds which are not ferocious but they look like as a dangerous dog or a guard dog, so they put a blanket ban. So which is not the, I would say, the right thing it up, but for the sake and the betterment of the general public of the country it up. Okay, so those steps has been taken in the past. Okay, and now the government is working on it in order to develop a new policy. So we are hoping, because the general election just happened in India, and this month only we got the new government. Okay, so happened came to the power it up. So those, I believe, policy is in a draft, or the all the stakeholders and the government are working in order to release the a new list of the breeds which may be further imported. Which may be further banned and restricted to import into the country.
So what are the breeds that are being
Yeah,
banned?
sure. I can let you know it up. I have here the circular with me article. So the breed, including mixed and cross breeds like Pit Bull Terrier, Tosa Inu, American Staffordshire Terrier, Fila Brasileiro, Dogo Argentino, American Bulldog, Boer Bull, Kangal, which is like a guard dog from the Central Asia, from the CIS countries, which has been originated from Russian Federation, okay, and there's a Caucasian Shepherd dog and South Russian Shepherd dog, Tornjak, Japanese Tosa, Akita, Mastiffs, Boer Bulls, Rottweiler, terriers. So here is the thing is that they put all the terriers into the blanket ban breed,
You
which
said
is not a
terrier?
right, which is not a right
Yeah,
thing.
yes.
Like
No.
all terriers are not a dangerous
Right,
dogs.
right.
Yeah, so that's our concern. It up that they put it up. Then they put all wolf dogs as a the ban breed it up, and they're not issuing the import for the Siberian Husky. So Siberian Husky looks like a wolf dog, but it is not actually a
Yeah,
wolf dog. It up.
right.
So that was a problem that we couldn't import the terriers and the Siberian Huskies, and there are like so many people every year from Russia and other parts of CIS imports and bring the Siberian Husky into the India. So they put it a blanket ban. So these are the some of the breeds which they put as a commonly they put it as a ban breed for India.
Yeah, I'm sure there was definitely a lot of people upset about that. That's a big
Absolutely.
statement for the breeds. Some of them, I mean, yeah, you know how you can see articles on, ferocious breeds or dangerous dog breeds, and some of those are on the list of that, but it doesn't
Absolutely.
necessarily mean that mine is vicious. I got an American Bulldog behind me. She might bark, but she's scared of everybody, so I don't think she's a ferocious.
Yeah.
It's gonna
So I,
attack.
I, I do understand. Like
Yeah.
for the UK, we as they banned the bully and the Staffordshire Terrier it up. Like
Mhm.
I sent a dog from UK to States 2 years back it up, and now I returned that dog. Got it back to the just a few days back it up. So the dog is like 13 years old. It doesn't have much teeth left it up, and the skin is like all is it up. So it's cannot be considered as a dangerous dog. It's okay. So
Right,
putting a blanket ban is not a right solution to this problem.
right,
I would say every country do the betterment for the country to protect their citizen and their interest, and
right,
I am 100% agree with that. We should make those policies set up for the betterment of our people. Okay, but we also need to consider all the stakeholders on that. That's a
right,
thing that up. Yeah. So
right,
I believe that every governments do it. Even the new rules comes into the policy, it takes some time, and the government gets the feedback. So it's I believe same across the globe everywhere.
right. Yeah.
It's just sad when people call animals ferocious. First of all, that's a triggering word, but they call these animals ferocious, but they were taught to be that way. So, is it really the animal's fault? So it's like, shouldn't the person who owns them and taught them to be that way, shouldn't they be the one that face some type of government repercussion? Why put the animal down when they were taught to be display a certain behavior? Why not put the person down along with them?
Yeah, I agree with
So
you.
it's just,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. That's bad.
yeah. I know Canada, they were trying to do a specific bully breed ban for a while, and that caused the country to be in an uproar over it. So, I don't know how India is with their animals, the people, but I know definitely in parts of the U.S., especially New York, California, a ban like that would never fly. There would be all kinds of uproars over that. I hope that your government is speaks to everyone and takes in consideration that the animals are really here just to be kind souls.
Yeah,
They're
they
not
are.
really trying to hurt humans. So hopefully they'll consider that factor when they're going into creating a ban for everything.
Yep, they are the companions. They are the mate, definitely. As it up. So yeah, as I saw it up, it's not only the responsibility of a single person or a government. It's a combined responsibility of everyone. A breeder who is selling a dog, any a ferocious breed or a restricted breed, a person who is buying it up or who is adopting it up. They also need to take certain measure into the control, like where they're gonna keep this dog it up properly, vaccinations given time to time. Checking the temperament and the behavior of your dog every time to time on the interval. So it is a collective responsibility of everyone, all the stakeholders who are involved into this thing. Putting just only a blame on a one person or targeting only one person or a one sided thing is not a, I would say, a solution to this thing.
Yeah. Definitely agree. Well, tell us
Yeah.
more about you and your, as far as being a pet shipper in your business and then
Yeah,
maybe
I enjoyed a
numbers.
lot
Tell us more about
being
that.
a so I enjoyed a lot of being a pet shipper. Look, when I came to an industry, I really have no idea about this thing. Truly speaking it up, okay. So the people who dragged to me in industry, I was an IT guy. I used to work for Microsoft. I was a system engineer back in 2006 to 2009. I graduated in 2006. I did my system engineering, and I worked for Microsoft for 2 years. So we got a client over there whom I used to work with and handle their the ID stuff on the clouds. At that back time, the clouds was just introduced. Putting everything on the cloud, you do not have to carry everything, all your data, pictures,
Mhm.
information. So you can just have an access on the clouds. That was at that time, 2006. It was a very new thing. So we find someone which is our ex-owner of World Care. The World Care is a very, I would say, reputed firm organization in States who are into the live animal transportation for years. I believe they are now 25 plus years, I believe so. Okay, so he is the one. His name is Donald Uyano, Don Uyano. Okay, and he is the one who dragged me into this industry, who asked me up if I would like to give a try about this world, and I was like totally blank and shocked that what exactly is this. I have no idea. So he actually dragged me, bring me up to this industry. He trained me up, okay, and I'm very thankful to him that he taught me everything about the industry. So slowly and gradually, working for 10 years of World Care in a different aspects, I had learned a lot about the industry, meeting our industry veterans at that time, also the people from the fraternity. So we have, and if you talk about back in 2009, and I know very less people. It was a 2011 a game changer for me, as you mentioned also it ups, where I met the people at a PATA conference, and I see there are so many people about
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
industry. Truly speaking, I have no idea before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that thing become a more curiosity and zeal bring to me that I have to learn about this industry, because I have a dog with me in my childhood. Okay, it's a toy pom, a Pomerian. Okay, I grew up with for years. I had that dog Okay, so I always had a soft corner for the dogs with in my heart. Okay, so sorry. So then we bring to different aspects. Okay, and in my last the profile with the scale Barara, where I had learned a lot about the being as a freight forwarder and a custom broker, because that company is set up, and how things get into the dealing on those sides, and how to do a freight forwarding for the specialized product, because it's a specialized product. There's a life and there's emotion added to it so we learned about it I was in Germany with that pet hair, where I was there for 2 years, and then I learned about something about the European market and the German market. So the thing is that, like, the zeal to learn about the different aspects of the industry that never ends up in me. So now I'm into my new role, where I am learning about different countries' rules and regulation, different things set up. Yeah, in like I did it up some commercial things in Germany. I'm doing now also here in my new role, and some of the commercial which I never did in my past when I was starting it, because I told you of that in India it's only the dog and cats classified mainly as a pet. Okay, rest all other commercials, and you need a lot of permissions to do those things set up. But when I get to the Germany and in the move one in the current profile later, so I learned, and I'm still learning about the another exotics commercials things set up. So that phase or that learning curve, it's always been very helpful for me, because that's I keep learning it of new things about the industry on their part.
Yeah.
So that's
I,
very fascinating. That's always a fascinating, and that's okay. And the one thing I still want to learn is how to deal with the horses. Okay, the transportation of the horses, taking care of the horses. I have some friends in that industry who specifically doing those things set up, and sometimes I really want to do that thing.
right. Yeah, because with I don't know if you know this, Greta. When horses are transported, they're not going to be on a cargo. Not on a
Absolutely, they
commercial
have to be on
anyway.
a
They're going
freighter.
to be a cargo freighter that they're going to
Yeah,
be on,
yeah.
and they have an attendant, so there's going to be someone there with them.
And I want to be that attendant
You
someday.
do? Yeah. So it's very interesting how they transport. So they have someone to care for them during
Yeah,
transport.
I saw the like
Yeah.
different airline posted like we they moved a panda from China to some part
Mhm.
of the world. Yeah, and they have the
That would be fun.
attendants. They're taking care for the horses as well. Yeah, for the lions as well. Like I want to someday that really.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. That sounds
Yeah,
like
absolutely. That's a really gonna be a great experience of my life to be accommodated by those pets. I'm not gonna
right.
like accommodate a pet. The pet, those animals will going to accommodate me with them.
Yeah. No, that's sounds really good. Really good. Really
That's
good.
the thing. Yes, guys.
But no, I think it's probably interesting to learn the different because again, I'm in the U.S., so I know, and I can't say I'm an expert, but I know a lot about the different
Yeah.
federal agencies that regulate different animal species. And to me, it's fascinating to know. Okay, in India, these are the agency regulatory authorities for these animals, and going to Europe, there's a different regulatory authority for their animals, and it's
Yeah.
just interesting to learn all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I like to hear the difference, how they handle the process, which is different from how we handle the process. So that's what I was more listening to when you were talking, Rune. And that's why I was like, oh my God, yours is so much simpler. So,
Now, if I were, and if I decided I'm a resident or I live in India and I want to transport my dog to the US, what is my start for someone
So
that's in your
now,
country?
so I'll tell you. So people who are moving to states from India and they wants to take their live animals with them, the pets which they have keeping, especially dog and cats, etc. So they have to start with the basic process that getting them vaccinated, which everyone do it, but they're not aware of the microchip thing. So mostly the people, so that they has to do a microchip, which is now a form of identification,
Mhm.
everywhere it up. So they have to get it microchip, then they have to do a new vaccination after that thing it up, and then they have to wait for 30 days in order to do a blood draw, because now moving the pets to the states you need a rabies titer test as well it up. So this is a basic process which takes easily a 60 days time, so doing a microchip first and then you do the rabies. Either you can do a same day or a next day, okay, that the vet can issue a certificate to you that the microchip is always given prior to the rabies shot jab, okay, and then you wait for complete 30 calendar days and then you do the blood sampling and send it to the lab. So the only one problem we have here is that we do not have the approved lab for the European Union. As
Oh,
per the European standards, India does not have a lab at over there.
okay.
So that's really one thing I would like to see in coming future, if we can get also any of our Indian lab up to the standards of the EU recognized. So I would say I'm sure we have those standards because that's all been governed by the OIE. But if we can get that on the EU list over there, which is an approved list for the rabies labs, so that would be really helpful for us. So we do not have to send the serum sample to overseas market for those labs in order to conduct the test.
Wow.
So
wow.
after that, yeah, so that's the basic thing it up, like
Mhm.
as per the existing rules for the USDA for the bringing the pets from the rabies endemic country into United States. So we still have to 45 days is a wait period after we do the blood sampling, the titer test, and then you need to, meanwhile you also need to apply for the CDC import permit, which takes
Mhm.
6 weeks time it up. So that's the existing rule which is still going on, and the new rules will be going to come from the August one, where you have to wait for 6 months until the age of the pet a dog has to be
Right.
happen. Yeah, so that will be going to a new change where the I would say the pet parents, they won't be able to take their newly born pets to the states with them when they are relocating, and they have to wait for 6 months.
Wow.
So just a quick question. So if you're an Indian national in India and you want to go from the south to the north, do you have to do anything with the government if you're taking your cat or dog, or
Yeah,
can you just drive or fly?
So I'll tell it, like within a domestic travel for the India, if you're going by road or by train, okay, you just need a vaccinations, okay, and then you can issue a health certificate from a vet, okay. Normally, airline asks to issue the health certificate within the 24 hours of a travel, and then you just book your dog if you want to be as an excess baggage or has to be in a cargo mode on the same airlines the pet owner is flying it up, so they can be done by within the same day. You go to the airport domestic side it up, you check in the dog with you, depending on which airlines you are flying it up, and then if you want to bring the dog as a cargo, then you go a little bit earlier to the domestic cargo terminal of the airline, and then you complete the formality. So you don't need anyone over there, a pet shipper. You can just simply go. You have the vaccination records, the health certificate issued from any a local vet who's a approved vet by the government, okay, and registered vet with the government, and then you must have your travel crate. And then you go to the airlines office, either passenger side or cargo side, and then you can do the formalities and check in your dog.
That's very similar to what we do for domestic travel here. That's
Okay. And you're free to take by road. You can just put your dog into your car and just start driving it.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. Very good. Dr. Bryant, do you have any last questions or comments you want to say with me?
No, you see, Varun, it went by so fast, but you shared a lot of valuable information with us. Which,
my pleasure.
Thank you so much with that. That's really good.
Sorry. I tried my best, to bring my 16 years experience on the table today.
You did outstanding. No, I don't have any further questions. I really just, like I said, learning just as far as a different country, how it's done. And I see there's similarities as far as domestic travel. Things that we're lacking in comparison is, again, we don't have set up animal quarantine facilities, in the U.S., which is something that's truly needed. It's truly needed. I'll just stop there.
I'm hoping your new government will gonna bring it up, because our new government it's the third consecutive term for our existing government, okay, and our prime minister, the head of the state, he is very much lovable to the animals, pets, okay. That's why he imported last year also some of the zoo exotic setups, and they made the things much better as it was back, I would say 11 or 12 years setup. So things are much better into the new government for the existing one setup. Yeah, so I'm happy with my government, okay, the authorities over here, that they really are doing the best for the country.
That's perfect.
That's great. That's great. Well, I just wanted to tell everyone, if they wanted to learn more about the company that Varun works for, the Pet Relocation Company, to visit this website. And I believe they have a contact page on there for people to reach out and ask questions. And then also, if you want to follow along on their social media, they're all, oops, I took it off. I apologize. They're on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll be able to follow along with his company, or the company he works for, in Facebook and Instagram. So do you have any last minute words, Varun, that you'd like to say to everyone?
Don't stop loving your pets. Keep loving your pets.
Yeah.
They are your companion.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. That's really good. Thank you for the information. It was really awesome.
Pleasure.
Very, very good.
Thanks for giving me up the platform. Take care. It was lovely interacting with you all. Thank you, everyone who joined us today for this interactive session.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone,
for joining
us.
Bye, Dr. Nelva. Take care. Have a good day.
Oh.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See, I pushed end. Yeah. Oh.